Lights, camera,
Rolling.
action.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand. Wax on, wax off.
He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Hi, I'm Joe, and this is the Filmjoe podcast, where film talk happens. Hi, I'm Joe,
I'm Daisy.
And I'm Liss.
and welcome to the podcast where we talk about films, filmmakers, trends, the good, the bad, and the not so bad, all in the spirit and for the love of film. So, when you're dead, you're dead. Except when you're not dead, you're alive. But not alive, but dead. On this episode, we're going to dig into the world of the dead who aren't really dead, but are. We have two romantic comedies they both borrow their titles from a classic romantic song. But before we continue, beware, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen any of these films, you may want to pause this, watch the movies, return, or just enter at your own risk. Right?
Right.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So, by the way, there's a couple of films that are coming out next week that I'm excited to see. And I don't know if you've heard about this one, Daisy. Love Hurts.
Love hurts.
Yeah. Liss, you've ever heard of this one?
No.
Okay, it's an action comedy romance, and it stars Ke Huy Quan, the kid from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh shit, cool.
Yeah, and it's an action comedy. He does martial arts, and it looks amazingly fun. I can't wait to watch this. Yeah, I just saw that. If you get a chance, check out the trailer. I saw the trailer a few nights ago, and it's really looks really a lot of fun.
This is the first time he's been in anything since he was a kid, though, right?
Well, he did a movie called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That was so good.
Yeah, that was like on a different level, metaphysical, spiritual level. It was amazing. Yeah,
Wow.
But I'm sorry, when you think of him, you think of Indiana Jones?
yeah.
I
Or
do.
or Data from
Yeah, that's what I immediately go to, Goonies.
right. Yeah, those were his two most iconic roles, and I think pretty much his only two major roles that he did in his career. And it's a real treat to see him come back and get out there and do his thing. He's really, he's real talented, real lot of fun. Also Hard Eyes, which is a modern day.
Yeah. Yes.
Love me some slasher stuff. That one looks really good. There's a lot of buzz behind it, so it might be pretty good.
It looks gross, so I'm sure Tony would love it.
Yeah. He likes that gross shit. The grosser the better.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now to my favorite new director, Robert Eggers.
Mm.
Did you hear the news?
Mm.
It's official. He is going to be directing and writing an official sequel to Labyrinth.
Sequel.
Yes, a sequel.
Okay, all right. I think I could deal with a sequel because it's not, a remake or reboot would be just very offensive because, I love the movie.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, I think I could deal with a sequel.
Yeah. I mean, as much as dog shit as I thought the original was,
God.
I'm just
It was not, dude, come on. Seriously, can you really say that the whole thing was dog shit?
if I go 90%, I'd say 90% dog shit.
I was told if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Exactly.
So I'm exercising that.
And now,
Thank you.
Look, that was me being nice.
No, I mean, oh God, this okay. All right. Because I mean, the movie you chose for us this week.
Okay, it has some
Okay.
issues. Okay, it didn't age well.
Some issues. No, 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 no. This is not. This has nothing to do about it aging well. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that for right now because I'm
Okay.
about to rip it a new one.
Okay, all right. Eggers is also working on a new horror film, and this is going to come out next Christmas. No, well, Christmas of next year. Wolfman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's set in the 13th century, and judging by the style of Nosferatu, I'm so stoked for this one.
That's gonna be awesome.
And by the way, guys, Nosferatu just came out for rental, so if you guys get a chance, I highly recommend it.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out.
Better than Labyrinth.
Oh, whatever, dude. It had no. How you gonna compare a vampire classic to a fantasy, a classic fantasy?
Classic fantasy. That's interesting.
Goblin King. He slayed his performance in
Oh
that.
my god, yes. Goblin King,
Hoggle, amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
Ludo, awesome.
Oh my god. Well, for those of you who haven't heard the episode, we covered, dissected, and talked about Labyrinth a few episodes ago. Was it this season? It was this season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it's the last season. Anyway, we go over it. So if you get a chance, guys, check it out. It was a lot of fun. And as always, I was right.
Whatever. Opinion.
I was correct in
No.
my assessment of the film.
Whatever. I don't care how you word it. You're full of shit. You're full of shit.
All righty. So what do you say we get into this week's episode?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Before I dig myself in deeper here. All righty. So now it's time to get into bodies and get spiritually recycled. So with this first film, what if a place you've never seen felt like home?
Oh, honey, would you get the little silver corn holders, please? What corn holders?
It's in the sideboard, second drawer down on the right.
Do you think it's possible for Louis to come back?
My mother never really got over my father.
That lady is my wife. Philip? It's my best friend. Philip, it's great to see you again. Miranda.
He treats me like I'm 5, like I'm his daughter or something.
I was Louis Jeffries.
He's not Daddy. Nobody is.
Remember this? All he wants is your money.
You're wrong. He wants my body.
I'm gonna go upstairs and take a cold shower.
Why don't you just attack Mom once and for all?
All these years, you've never touched her.
I'm so ripe, I'm about to fall off the vine.
Mother?
Philip!
Corinne, go to your room.
Go to your room, Alex!
A reincarnated man unknowingly falls in love with his own daughter from a previous life. Once he realizes this, he tries to end their relationship before angels erase his memory. The film we are talking about here is Chances Are from 1989, and it is directed by Emil Ardolino. The film stars Sybil Shepherd, Robert Downey Jr., Ryan O'Neal, Mary Stuart Masterson, and Christopher McDonald. So before we get into this, we're going to be rating this on the Filmjoe scale of 1 to 10 diamond earrings.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Okay, for this timeless masterpiece. Okay, so so for a little production backstory, the film was known prior as Life After Life, and then it was also known as Unforgettable. Chances Are with Sybil Shepherd's. It was her first film in a number of years. Her profile is pretty much risen up since she had started in the series Moonlighting back in the 80s. And so she made this film during a production hiatus of that series. Perry Howes and Randy Howes, they purchased the script and they brought it over to producer Mike Lobel, who immediately responded, "I love the story." And the people at TriStar felt the same way. The story moved everyone because it was about people, love, memories, and it was also very, very funny. Many of the scenes were filmed in Georgetown, in Washington, D.C., the Smithsonian Museum. So once Shepherd was secured in the film, the filmmakers, they faced the formidable task of casting a young actor, opposite her as the quote-unquote recycled husband. And this was kind of a challenge because they needed someone who was young enough, but also seasoned enough with really good acting talent. So at that point, Robert Downey Jr. had already been named Hottest Actor of the Year by Rolling Stone. he was pretty much a veteran actor. He had like 4 films under his belt at that point. So they brought him in, and Ardolino, the director, said of Robert that he was an extraordinary talent who was very skillful, passionate, and just very funny, sexy, and always very surprising, and that he brought a tremendous amount of vitality and complexity to all of his performances in the film. And so finally, the film was released on March 10th, 1989. All right, Daisy, your takes.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what I liked about the movie. Okay, I love the idea of, loving somebody so much that you're willing to, be reincarnated and come back just to find them. I thought that was beautiful. That was the only beautiful part I found appealing in this movie. This movie was so incredibly cringe and uncomfortable. Okay. Robert Downey Jr., has the reincarnated soul of Louis inside him. Sees his daughter and he falls in love with her. They kiss, they make out. That is just so fucking wrong. That is gross. Then he goes on to, fooling around with, Sybil Shepherd, which is his wife from, the past life. And that is just gross. I mean, okay, age is just a number. There's nothing wrong with the,
Right.
older woman being with the younger man or vice versa. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's just, it just didn't feel right, especially when he's kind of stepping on his best friend's toes. He's been there for his best friend's wife, through all the pain and agony she went through, helped raise the daughter and everything. And then he comes back all fucking hot and sexy and shit, and tries to step back into the role. So that, I didn't think that was cool.
Okay. Yeah.
And
It definitely had the cringe factor for sure.
massive cringe factor. And then tell me why, at the end they're like, okay, you know what, let's make things better, let's give him the shot so that way he forget that that's actually his daughter that he's in love with, and they take away his memory and poof, they get to be together. But that is still the soul of the dad. I don't give a shit. You know what? Give me the fucking shot. I need to forget this shit.
Okay, interesting take. I take it you didn't care for it much.
No, it was so uncomfortable.
All righty, Liz, what was your take on this?
This was my first time seeing the movie. When it started, it felt like it was going to be like a cute little rom-com. But then I got to the point where I couldn't tell if it was like satire, serious, or what. And I described it the same way Daisy did, super cringy. Like, he made out with his daughter, and then like he realized he got his memory back. He learned it was his daughter, right? And then he lost his memory again. And the mother still knew it was him. And she just like let them be together. She just like shrugs it off like, sure, I'm married now. It's fine. Like, he ends up with his daughter. What are they going to have? Like incest reincarnation babies? Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be cheering. Like, it was just a hot mess to me. It was so, ugh.
All right. Well, you know what? It was one of my favorites.
It was.
I mean, watching it just recently under a more studied perspective. Yeah, I mean, I'd seen it several times before, and to me, it just got sweeter and sweeter every time I saw it. And I thought it held up well until I realized that it wasn't just, oh, it's my daughter, I need to stay away. But yeah, that was cringy. I mean, there's another film that did the same thing, and that was Back to the Future.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of too.
But that's Back to the Future, and that's a masterpiece. So, but I mean, I liked it, and I'll tell you overall, and I'll tell you why in a bit. It's still somewhat of an enduring story.
Oh God.
I mean, cringy, fuck yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, one thing, like the way it starts off, I think it was very sweet, and I'm sure you guys enjoyed the scene as well at the wedding when he confesses his love for Corinne because Philip, who the husband who passes away, he's about to get married, and he's there with his best friend.
Philip is the best friend.
Right, the best friend of the two, and he just kind of quote unquote jokingly leans over. He goes, "Hey, I have to tell you something. I'm in love with Corinne," and he's like, "Ha ha ha ha." It was, but he really was, and you could tell. I like the way the film set that up for the somewhat love triangle between her, him, and her dead husband.
Yeah, but then it just got convoluted when they threw in the daughter, and then it just became really gross.
Well, look,
That was Not
Yeah,
your typical love triangle.
but you see, the thing is, okay, guys, look,
Mhm.
he didn't know that was his daughter. Remember, he didn't know he was Philip.
No, no, that's fine. That's fine.
He's
But
still
I mean,
Alex.
okay, you know how you mentioned Back to the Future.
Right,
Remember that part where they kissed, and when the mom she breaks apart from it, she's like, oh, it's like kissing my brother. Like
right.
she felt it, you know.
Yeah, and it wasn't full tongue like this one.
And it was the mother at the end, like, she knew that that was her husband's reincarnated, right there, and she was just like, "Huh, whatever," just shrugs and goes off with the other guy.
Oh God.
She's just like, "Alright, I'm gonna have grandkids with, 12 toes, it's fine."
But you know what? There were some things that I did care about, but also there was what really, aside from the cringe factor. I mean, the whole subplot with the Benino crime family in court, that whole thing. Because what it is on the night he dies in the 1960s, and he's an attorney, and he was trying to prosecute a mafia guy, and he finds out that the judge is pretty much in cahoots with the mafia guy taking a payoff, and he has pictures. And for this, they kill him. And that's in the first act. That's like in the first, what,
So
15, 20?
is that because I thought it was just an accident. I really didn't get to see who it was behind the car. I figured that it was an assassination, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
Well, that's how thin that subplot was, because they don't revisit it until the end when he goes to the courthouse.
Hmm.
When Alex, or Robert Downey Jr. returns to the courthouse to see his daughter, that he made out with,
Mm.
and he sees the judge, and it all comes back to him. He goes, "Oh, you were in bed with this guy. You were in cahoots with this attorney, and I mean, with this mafia guy." And that's pretty much almost the middle to the end of the third act of the film. So I just felt that was just
Kind of thrown in there.
it was thrown in there as filler, and I didn't care much
Hmm.
for that. What did you think, Liz?
That whole subplot made me think that it was, like, satire, like it was a joke, like, the whole movie. It didn't seem like it was really a rom-com. I was waiting for, like a Jim Carrey movie you know what I mean? Like, for it to
Right.
turn out like that, and it just didn't feel real. The whole thing felt cringy.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Because I mean, you know what? There's tons of ways this film could have been done a lot better. And again, this is a very much loved film by a lot of folks.
By who?
Oh, you'd be surprised. It has its following, but I think it's because they attach more to the romantic aspect of the husband. Like you said, Daisy, the
Uh,
husband who loved his wife so much he would do anything to come back to her.
yeah, and I thought that was great, but then I'm like, wait a second, how's this shit gonna work out? I'm
Yeah,
like, no, 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 no. This is yeah. I'm like, he's coming back for her, but he's gonna end up falling in love with the daughter. Ew. And
yeah,
yeah, right from the beginning, I'm like, no, this is not gonna go well. I
yeah.
knew from the beginning.
And this could have worked. I mean, all they had to do was, he meets his daughter, and somehow he's drawn to her, and maybe he has a little Marty McFly kind of moment there, but in the sense that, why is he drawn to her? And then, of course, he meets the mom, and then it hits him. Boom! Right? Then it's all set. And just get rid of the fucking subplot with the mafia and all that stuff that really
It was unnecessary.
it was unnecessary. I think
Yeah.
they should have focused more. I love the character of Philip, Ryan O'Neal, a real good guy. Usually some films will frame a character like that as an asshole or a dickhead or whatever, but he was a nice guy. He manned up,
All
and
around nice guy. Yeah.
yeah,
I
he
felt
man.
like he was a creep.
Who, Philip?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, he's just, like, stalking this family, like, leave them alone. You wanna help them out, sure, not just show up in their house and be like, "Oh, there's the key, let me just go on in and make dinner." Like, go away.
Well, they needed to, but he was taking care of him. I mean, the husband passed away. She needed a friend, a shoulder to cry on. Amanda needed a father figure in her life, and he did. He took care of both of them, and made them a family, which was nice.
I don't know, I felt like he was more like a stalker, but maybe he was nice. I don't know.
Right. But they didn't and also Christopher McDonald, who plays the husband, Louis.
Shoot McGavin.
Yes, that guy. I love the way they cast him against type that he usually, is portrayed. He usually plays a jerk or a weirdo,
Yes. Yes.
and he was played straight here, and he was really, really good. I mean, you really feel that he's a good man, and he loved his wife, and he really wants to get back to her. So, in other words, there are elements of this film that do work. the romance, the love, the stuff like that. But I think, yeah,
It was. I mean, all of that was totally overshadowed by the incestual relationship between daddy and daughter. That was just.
Right? You just want to take a shower after you watched
I
it.
did. I did. I felt dirty. I felt so fucking dirty. God, man.
And also, watching this because the last time I'd watched this maybe it was a few years ago, but Robert Downey Jr. comes across. I mean, we know he's the reincarnated Philip. We know he's telling the truth, but the way he comes off to Sybil Shepherd to Corinne is psychotic. He's a you think this guy's a rapist. This guy's a psych. He's. I'd be scared. I'd have shot the guy.
Seriously.
Yet she lets her stalker stay in her house all the time? Okay.
Yeah, that was a bit hard to swallow right there. But
I mean, the best friend stalker.
And the best friend stalker. And the young man who comes out of nowhere saying, "I'm really your husband. I love you,"
So she's like, yeah, come on, stay here. Just lock your door. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
What?
I think what held the film together were what everybody latches on to is, of course, the romance, the song itself. It's a beautiful song. And it does have, the romance in it, when it's nice between Corinne and Alex or Philip. But I think what most people latch on the performances. I mean, it has a great cast. Sybil Shepherd was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt. I mean, they played their parts well.
Yeah.
It's just the story was gross. That's I cannot warm up to anything in that movie. I can't warm up to the relationship with Philip and Sybil Shepherd. I can't, or with Louis and Sybil Shepherd, or with the daughter. And no, I can't warm up to any of it. It's just.
So she slept with the husband before he was dead, after he was dead, and then with her the best friend.
She didn't sleep with him.
With the best friend?
Oh no. With her reincarnated husband.
Yeah, they did the nasty.
They did not.
I thought she was just disrobing, and then he came in, the stalker.
Yeah,
and then stopped it.
Okay,
yeah.
they came really close then.
They saw each other naked.
Oh, that's right. But I like I said, I did buy into the romance. I think what I was doing was kind of like purposely overlooking the stuff that really was cringy and really didn't work.
You can't overlook that.
You were blind as fuck, fool.
Because I love Sybil Shepherd, and you know what, Robert Downey Jr. This being his fourth or fifth film, very early on, because he did quite a few films back to back. He already showed the making of what a movie star is. His performance. I mean, look, the scene where he's realizing who he is at the dinner table, where the daughter says, "Oh, Mom, where are the corn holders?" And Mom's like, "What corn holders?" And then he jumps in. He says, "Yeah, right there in the cupboard on the left side, the right side, blah, blah, blah. They're right there." And he realizes, which, by the way, that right there is creepy in itself because he knows where all this shit is.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother still lets him stay there.
Right. But his reaction when he starts to realize, and it's all coming back to him, Robert Downey Jr. really does shine in his performance. And overall, just almost this screwball kind of comedy effect, which is great at. And which is, unfortunately, he didn't really pursue much comedy after that. But he's great at comedy. And again, Ryan O'Neal was great. Christopher McDonald, Mary Stuart Masterson, the whole cast, they really did their parts well. And I think that's where I gravitated more was the genuine performances. And that's what they weren't. They weren't synthetic. They were very organic performances.
And that's the problem, is that they did their part so fucking well that they really were able to bring out that cringe factor.
Okay, I can't argue with that. I really can't, because they didn't even try to fucking hide that shit. It was just so...
No, not even with the fucking shot. Like, seriously, I needed the shot. I really needed to forget that shit even happened.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe it's, insinuated a little bit an attraction. Kind of like, I like her, but why? I don't know. Let me get close. Let me get far away. Let me back off. Her, the same thing. Had they gone that route, I think it would have worked a lot better, along with getting rid of that lame ass subplot with the courthouse and the judge.
And just kind of focus on the relationship with Philip and Corinne.
Yeah,
A-
because
And and Louis letting her go.
right, kind of like Always with
Yes,
Holly Hunter and Richard Dreyfuss.
exactly. Yeah.
And I think that would have been nicer. I mean, because Philip, genuinely a good man, he loved her, but he didn't really profess his love for her. He provided for the daughter. He took care of her. He watched over him, and you could see his conflict that he really loved her, but he didn't want to cross
He
that
sh-
line.
but you know what though? He could have had her a long time ago. That woman was sexually frustrated. Dude, she would have jumped on that shit had he said something. The fucker stayed quiet. He didn't say shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know what? That's fucked up. I came in liking this movie. Now I'm not too sure.
As
but I,
you should.
but I thought one thing. Okay, come on. It was fucked up when Philip he goes out of his way to make her a beautiful dinner with wine and candles, and she shows up with this kid, Alex, and he sticks around to get him drunk, and then to kick him the fuck out.
That was sad.
I'm sorry. He went in and made her dinner. Did she ask him? Did she give him the key or open the door? No, we're back to stalker.
Well, I believe they had kind of an understanding of it's just his house. He can come whenever he wants, and whatever kind of open invitation. Maybe I never thought of Philip as a stalker. Alrighty, so but yeah, I did feel bad for Philip, and again, maybe because I really liked Ryan O'Neal back in the day. I think he was a really good actor.
I'll give you that. I did feel bad for him.
Yeah, and even some people think he's a stalker, but okay.
Mm-hmm. You know how many laws are broken in this movie?
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. All right, let's go with some key standout moments and performances. Daisy, so key standout moment for you.
Well, just when Louis realizes, that his time has come and gone, and when he sees, what Philip has put into this, family, how he took care of them, how he raised his daughter, how he looked out for his wife. And basically, the moment where he steps back and kind of, he throws Philip into his bed and sets it up so that, what is her name, Corinne, meets up with them, and they make out, they do the deed, and bam, they're together.
Right.
So I thought that was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really really sweet moment. And what about performances?
No.
Nope. Not even Robert Downey Jr.
Dude, I tried hard, try to come up with a key moment because I really did not like this movie.
Thank you. I thought I was going to come in here and get destroyed. I'm glad I have someone else on my side.
All right, what about you, Liz? I mean, any key standout moments, performances?
A scene. I don't know if this is like a standout, but I was confused. He went to go shoot him when he was up in heaven, and he was like, "Oh, you can be reincarnated," and he just like ran and started ripping his clothes off. I'm like, nobody told you to do that. That's so weird. But the stand. Sorry.
No shit.
The standout scene was when it like ended. I was like, yes, I can start forgetting this movie. I need holy water.
Oh wow.
And the standout performance was Peter Cetera singing at the end with Cher.
Okay, I gotta give you that. I mean, as I'm watching the movie, however conflicted I was at the end, but when that song comes out, after all,
Yep.
yeah.
I turned it off right as it ended. I didn't even wait for anything.
She was already in the shower. And the credits are rolling.
Oh man. Oh gosh. Well, okay. Well, for me, I mean, the stand-up performance was definitely Robert Downey Jr., especially when he starts, like I said earlier, when he starts to realize who he is, and he starts to stumble, and oh shit, oh my goodness, this is, oh no, yes, no. I thought that was pretty clever, very well acted out, and it shows to me again that Robert Downey Jr. was a star already, even back then, and just a great performer. For me, in that moment was when he realizes, and I think he was overall what to me was the center and what held the film together. So that's me. Okay, that's just
Right.
me.
That
All
is
right.
just
It
you,
is
man.
just you.
Oh God, I can't wait till we get to the ratings on this. Jesus. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
man.
So let's get to the budget and box office on this. So the budget at the time was about $16 million, which is a little over $40.4 million in today's money. Box office at the time was 16.2 million, which is about 40.9 million. So in essence, it broke even. In other words, it lost money. It didn't do well at all. It really didn't.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Okay, reviews and scores. The film, believe it or not, received generally positive reviews from critics. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, he gave the film 3.5 stars out of 4, saying that chances are it's a lighthearted romance about reincarnation told with wit and a certain irony. I agree. There was a little, it was a nice, the romantic angle between Sybil Shepherd and him was nice. I mean, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, okay, I'm not going to win you guys over on this one, am I?
No, not at all.
And that just makes me think less of Roger Ebert after saying that. Like everyone involved in this, I'm just like, ew.
He
Like,
probably had a crush on his sister or something.
who
Oh,
read the script and was like, oh yeah, let's do this.
IMDb, it's sitting at 6.5. It has a Metascore of 62. Rotten Tomatoes, critics score 67 with an audience score of 65. And Letterboxd has this as 3.1 out of 5. So average ratings, it wasn't smoking hot, but it was received generally well. There were no sequels or spin-offs or remakes or anything. So yeah, let's go with our ratings. This is going to be interesting. Daisy, you go first.
Okay, so I'm gonna. This movie had no redeeming qualities at all. I can, usually, there's a dog, at least a dog that I find cute that I'll be like, you know what, for you, my boy, I'll give you a 5. I'm gonna have to give it 0 diamond earrings.
Holy shit.
It was just so fucking uncomfortable. I had my hands over my face the whole entire time. Like, what the fuck am I watching? No redeeming qualities.
All right.
0.
Okay. So Daisy gives a solid 0. What about you, Liss?
I would have gone 0, but I'm telling you, Peter Cetera, something about his voice, he gets a 1. The movie gets 1 diamond earring. That's it.
Wow.
And it's only because of him, and he didn't even act in it. He didn't sign on for it.
For some reason, that was more 1 diamond earring is more pathetic than 0. Here, I feel sorry for you. 1.
Oh, okay.
Dog shit, my boy. Dog shit.
Yes. Yes. You should have done that. Dog shit.
Okay, so do I have to give my rating on this? Okay, here we go. Well, okay, look. Despite the being, it was cringy. It had some cringy elements. To me, I thought the film got away with it due to you buy into the romantic tone and the performances of the cast that really make this movie shine for me. So to me, yeah, I think that really overshadowed the cringe factor, which wasn't that much. It wasn't the central focal point, I don't think. So I'm gonna have to give this 7.5.
A what?
7.5 out of 10 diamond earrings. Okay.
Oh my god! Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
How is that not the central focus? If there's 1 ounce of that in there, that is the central focus.
Well, an ounce versus a gallon. I mean,
it doesn't matter. That diluted it all.
And because
That's nasty.
Look, when he realized who it was, he backed off. He's like,
the
no,
mother was like, fine, go ahead, go live a happy life.
And it doesn't matter, dude. It's his soul. I don't give a shit how many times you erase the guy's memory. It's his soul. The same soul that was in the body that made that child in the first place.
So you're saying if someone had amnesia and they didn't know and they were with their kid, that's cool?
No,
It's gross.
no.
All of
That's
it's
basically
gross.
what this shit is,
It's
man.
disgusting. All of it.
Okay. Wow. This has got to be the most divisive film we've had on the podcast to date. Okay.
Man.
So you guys hated it. Okay, cool. That's
Hated
fine.
it.
But I love Peter Cetera.
Peter Cetera was the ultimate winner on this. Okay.
I didn't get that far, so I can't.
All right, so let's move past this this dumpster fire of a film and let's get to our next film. All right. So for this next, okay,
Banish that from our minds. Yes.
yeah. Okay, so for this next film, they say that behind every great man, there's a woman, but in this case, it's ridiculous.
I can't believe this. I can't even die right.
Somebody please tell me this is not happening.
We obviously have mutual control over our body.
Our body. It's my body. I'm not sharing my body with anyone.
Everybody's gonna be real disappointed.
Now, Edwina Cutwater is dead and living in Roger Cobb's body.
You know, you have a great deal to learn about making someone feel welcome.
Let's get something straight here. I never liked you when you were in your body. I certainly don't like you in mine.
She's spoiling his love life.
Edwina!
My name is Peggy, you pig!
Oh! No, let me explain. It's Edwina Cutwater. She died today.
You did it with a dead woman?
He's ruining her afterlife.
I can't go in there. That's the men's room. Just shut up and do as I say.
She's getting under his skin.
Don't I excite you?
Edwina, go away, will you? I own that body. What if you got it pregnant? You have no right. No, you have no right.
Dying millionaire Edwina Cutwater has her soul transferred into the body of a younger, willing Terry Hoskins. However, something goes wrong and she finds herself in her lawyer, Roger Cobb's body, together as one. The film we are talking about here is All of Me from 1984, directed by Carl Reiner, who brought us such great films as The Jerk, also with Steve Martin, The Man with Two Brains, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, and that amazing series from the 1960s, Get Smart. The film stars Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin. So for this, we're going to be rating this on the Filmjoe scale of 1 to 10 copper bowls.
Bowl.
Bull.
I love that guy.
Bull. Yeah, bull.
Bull.
Alrighty, so a little production backstory. The film is based on an unpublished source novel called Me Too, two being spelled TWO, by Ed Davis. The film was part of, I remember this era. It was part of a mid to late 80s Hollywood cycle of body swap movies, and body switching like Vice Versa, 18 Again, like Father Like Son, Big, stuff like that. And, there was quite a few of these. And to me, this is one of my favorites. The film was originally going to star Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn. Steve Martin and Victoria Tennant, who plays the woman, the body, soul is going to go into the younger version. They met on the set of this movie and were married shortly after. And they divorced around 1994. So the film was released on September 21st, 1984. All right, Daisy, let's get your takes on this.
I really wish with all my heart and soul that I had watched this movie after Chances Are. I could have used this afterwards. I love this movie. I really love this movie. It was cute. It was funny. It was very unique, and especially, there was other movies like you said, but still, I love the concept. I thought it was really cool, and it was freaking hilarious. It had so many memorable moments. That pee scene.
Oh, the pee scene. We got to get to that. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Dear Lord, the pee scene. Yeah. So, I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
All right. Liss?
Yeah, this was my first time seeing the movie. I think I've seen like movie posters of it before because somehow I remember seeing it, but I never sat down and watched it before. And I loved it. It was a silly film with a fun script. And just like Daisy, I watched them in the wrong order. Freaky Friday body swap movies. It's done 100 times, like you said. It's usually super corny to me. But with Steve Martin's physical comedy, he makes the film. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
He was awesome.
It was perfection. I loved it.
All right. Well, for me, I mean, this is one of my go-to favorite warm, fuzzy place kind of movies. I love this movie. I mean, it's one of my favorite comedies of all time, believe it or not. I mean, my top 3 comedy films would have to be Young Frankenstein with Gene Wilder, the Mel Brooks film. Some Like It Hot, the classic Billy Wilder film with Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis, Marilyn Monroe. And this one, those 3 films I can watch anytime. And it just, I mean, there's movies that you go, oh, that's a funny movie. And you chuckle a little bit here and there. For me, I laugh my ass off whenever I watch this movie. It's one of my favorites. Definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, I definitely watch it again.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and and it had a great cast, for crying out loud. I mean, you have Lily Tomlin. God, Lily Tomlin is amazing.
Oh, she is. She's freaking awesome.
Oh, and the guy who plays the guru, the shaman.
He was freaking awesome. I love that guy.
Oh, he was hilarious. And even the small characters, the minor characters were really effective in this. And I think that goes to Carl Reiner, the director who knew comedy. I mean, there was only one other mind in Hollywood that matched his, and that was Mel Brooks when it came to comedy. But what do you guys think of this? Okay, again, it's Lily Tomlin, an amazing actress. She's beautiful, she's funny, she's witty, and she's just so cool in her delivery that because here's the setup of the film is that she plays Edwina Cutwater, who's a multi-millionaire who's been sick all of her life, and now she finds that she's dying. And so she finds a way, she finds out about this shaman who's able to transport her soul into any other body she wants. So she basically finds this young woman who is the stableman's daughter on her property, young, gorgeous, beautiful, healthy, to swap into her body, and then the daughter's body will be sent off into the ether of space for all eternity. And so, and in turn, that's where the lawyer comes in to finalize the will and so forth, which is Steve Martin. He thinks the whole idea is full of shit. He takes off as he's walking. They're transferring the soul from Edwina to the copper bowl. And from there, it's going to go into the young woman. Well, something happens, there's a struggle, whatever. The bowl is knocked out the window. It flies out. Steve Martin is walking by, hits him on the head, and now her soul occupies half of his body. And that's where all hilarity it just gets crazy.
Oh, God. Yeah, it was, I love that walk, the half, feminine walk.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? For me, I mean, when I first watched it, and every time I watch it, I love the film. You got the setup, the build up, and so forth, the story setup and introduction to characters. But once she, quote unquote, enters his body, the magic starts. Steve Martin is, in this film, in my opinion, the best physical comedy of his career.
Oh, yeah. He's very animated. I have to say that, his physical, acting kind of reminds me of Jim Carrey's.
Oh, absolutely. Jim Carrey definitely borrowed a lot from this guy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I loved it. And I also love the fact that, we have Lily Tomlin, she has a great voice, and, she's a great voice actress because she can, she really does bring a lot out in just her dialogue. But you got to see her. And I love the way they kind of created the device of when he looks in the mirror, he sees her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was cool.
On her voice, I never noticed how similar Jennifer Coolidge's voice was to Lily Tomlin's until watching this.
Oh, really? Yeah, I never realized that. Yeah. I mean, she has such a unique, cool voice. I don't know if you guys remember, but she used to do a lot of skit comedy on television, and she would do like one of those switchboard operators from the 40s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she would do the voice and operator, and she was just, genius, absolute genius.
You know where I remember her from?
Oh, I know where. Go ahead.
One of my favorites, and I haven't seen it in eons. The Incredible Shrinking Woman.
Man.
I need to see this movie again.
Well, we got to try to squeeze it in for next season because that's a definite that's one of those lost little treasures right
Oh,
there.
most definitely, yes.
This is
Yeah.
the first movie I've ever seen with her.
Really?
Oh,
I've
wow.
heard of her before, but I've never seen her in anything.
Well, you know what? I tell you, you definitely got to jump in on one of her finer performances. She's done a lot of great films. 9 to 5 was she was great in. Which we gotta see if we can. I mean, we have a packed season 5 coming up, but we gotta see if we can squeeze that one in as well. But she was great. I love Lily Tomlin and her pairing up with Steve Martin.
Oh, he's amazing.
I love him.
I do
Oh.
too. He's awesome.
And you know, that's where I get annoyed when I talk to, well, maybe this is just the old man in me, but when I talk to young kids who are like 20s and maybe even 30, they're like, oh, Steve Martin. Yeah, love Steve Martin. The Pink Panther.
Oh, dude.
God, no. That was his worst performance. I mean, he got the jerk, the man with two brains. He even have a small performance he did in Little Shop of Horrors.
Mhm.
Oh, the dentist. Yes,
Yes.
that's what I think of him as. That or King Tut on SNL.
Oh my
Oh,
God, King Tut.
Ping in my head with him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, and I
yeah.
loved him in what was it, The Three Amigos?
Oh man,
Never
that
saw it.
one. Oh, you never saw. Oh,
Mm-mm.
treat yourself to this. 'cause-
Listen, you know how many movies you've thrown at me? I'm trying to catch up, man.
oh, you know what? It's a treat. It is really.
It's so
Yeah,
much fun.
yeah. So that's why when I cringe worse than chances are whenever I hear kids say Steve Martin in the Pink Panther. I'm like, no, you guys don't know the
Seriously.
the genius of this man. Okay, my favorite scene. Well, God, which one is not? There's so many great scenes in this, but the first scene where they establish that he has to go take a pee. And he's like, you got to release the little fireman.
he's like, don't grab it so hard.
And then he's like, okay, Big Ed. I'm like, oh my God. And then when he's done, she's like, you need me to tap it? I'm like, yes. And she's like, tap. Oh God, I laughed so hard. I mean, that's just comedy genius right there.
That was awesome. Yeah, no, this is so much. It's so much fun. I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, so again, Liz, so this is your first time, and it must have been really a treat.
Yeah, I loved it. I for the scene you just threw me off because that was the same one I picked. But off the top of my head, the other scene that I really loved was remember when he went up to his blind friend that lived in the park or hung in the park? It was something like, I got a lot of friends crazier than you, but none better. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
It was.
No, I like when he tells him that he isn't black.
Yes. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because he's a blind black saxophonist. He's like, oh, by the way, you're white. He's like, I'm white. which
Ride or die.
Oh my gosh. Well, actually, that's kind of a play on The Jerk with Steve Martin, where he's a little boy who's raised by a black family in the deep South, and so he grows up thinking he's black. And there's a scene where he says, "You're not black, you're white." I'm not black.
Jesus Christ.
No, and it's funny because that movie opens up. I know I'm digressing here, but The Jerk opens up with him narrating the story. It's a rags to riches to rags to riches to rags story, and he's narrating a story. And Steve Martin starts off with, "I was born a poor black child."
Oh my God.
So now you got.
I need to see this now.
Yeah, it is great. Oh yeah, Richard Libertini. He was Prakalasa, the shaman.
Oh my God. Yeah. Such a small role, but he was fucking hilarious.
Racist, problematic, but fucking hilarious. I'm
I
sorry.
I love that part where he's flushing the fucking toilet, and every time he flushes the toilet, the phone rings.
Ring, 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 ring. Oh,
So stupid.
oh my gosh! Now it just the movie is jam packed with just really funny moments, but it also has heart. I mean, because throughout this whole thing, I mean, he is an attorney who is focused on his career, but deep in his soul, he's a musician. And he's given that up because his fiance wants him to pursue this. Society expects him to take that direction in life, but at his soul, he is a musician. So he's not really being true to himself. And then you have Lily Tomlin. She is this rich, mean woman who doesn't care about anybody. And we think initially, what are your impressions of Edwina when you first see her? You're like, what a bitch, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But then we learn why she is this way.
Mhm.
And the anger and the issues that she has that boiled up in her or festered in her all these years. So it's a beautiful little story in that you talk about story arc. You see them both, they both grow and they both see who they are, what they're about, and what their meaning is in life. And they find it in each other while being inside of each other.
Mhm.
And it's beautiful. It really, really is.
Yeah, no, truly awesome.
Yeah. And one thing that really did subvert my expectation, and I've seen this a million times, and I always fall for it, but I allow myself because I want to, is that Terry, Victoria, the young woman, she's the bad guy. She was playing her all, and I'm like, every time I watch the movie, I'm like, oh damn. Even though I know.
See, I thought she was going to be bad from the beginning because that's the mother from Flowers in the Attic. So I already had a feeling like, oh, she's such a jerk. So that's how I looked at her from the beginning. I wish I didn't see that before.
I was looking at her. I'm like, I know this chick. I've seen her in another movie. I totally forgot about Flowers in the Attic.
Wow. And I don't know if you guys caught this whole Dickens, Charles Dickens angle of the whole Scrooge story, where she goes to her own funeral and she sees that nobody's there and so forth. And through other people, she finds out, by observing from the dead or from this, in the ether of space, she sees what people really think about her and that nobody shows up at her funeral. And the only people sending letters of condolences are her people that she's done business with and so forth.
Yeah,
And you get this Dickens moment where she starts to reflect and realize that she wasted her life. And that's beautiful because that kind of sets up what's to happen next. And basically what happens is she ends up it turns out that Terry, the villain, she's actually a con artist and is been wanted by the cops and so forth. So instead of turning herself in, she decides, okay, just send my body into that horse, and Edwina, you can take my body. And and it's justified. It's like, okay, because you want Edwina, once they fall in love, you want them to be together. But I love the way they set that up. She's a bitch. She's a villain. Okay, she deserves what she's gonna get. And another thing that was kind of like foreshadowing, which I loved, because there is a moment where they're sitting down, or he's sitting down, and she talks about how she always wanted to dance.
Yes, I thought that was so sweet.
Yeah, and finally at the end, when Edwina takes the body of Terry and they're finally together, they're both in love. You see them dancing, but then the camera swings over to the mirror and you see them both dancing, and it was just hard. It was so beautiful and fun, really amazing. Yeah.
Awesome movie.
I love the villain's dad when he got to be happy and be with the horse. He was like, okay, and just went passing down the road with his horse.
Like fuck it, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was, like, happy for the first time in the movie.
Yeah, because he knew what a bitch his daughter was. I mean, it's his daughter. He loves her, but he was a bitch.
Yeah, massive bitch.
Yeah, it is. Above all, one thing that I didn't expect from when I first saw this movie, and it still comes, and this is how you know a great film, it still comes to a surprise to me at the end. It's a screwball comedy, supernatural comedy, a Steve Martin comedy, and it's a love story,
Yeah, we had it all in this movie. That was awesome.
Yeah, incredible. So let's go with some key standout moments and a key standout performance. Daisy.
Okay, so I love the part where they're both sitting down and they're both talking, and she opens up to him of why she is the way she is,
Oh
and
yes.
and how she grew up, and watching other kids playing while she just sat there being sick, and it was really sad, but it was a moment where he was able to really see her for who she truly was, and that's the
Mhm.
moment where they truly bonded.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
that was a beautiful moment. Yeah.
it really was a beautiful moment. I love that part. Key performance has to go to Steve Martin when he first realizes that Edwina is in his body, and he is fighting for control of his body. And holy Jesus! And people are looking at him like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" He's talking to somebody they can't see, and he has absolutely no control over his body.
Oh,
And oh my god, that shit was awesome.
it was comedy genius. It really
It
was.
it really was that. I was in tears with that.
What about you, Liz?
I liked when his soon-to-be ex-girlfriend came in the door, and she was basically like, "I faked all those orgasms." And
Oh
then she, like,
yeah.
acts it out, but then he says back, "Yeah, well, I faked mine too."
Oh gosh. Yeah, and only Steve Martin can deliver it that way. I mean,
Yeah,
only
that one had
Steve
me
Martin.
laughing out loud. And standout performance had to be Steve Martin. I mean, the way he fights with himself, it's just hilarious. You feel like it's really happening. It's like so nonsensical that it couldn't possibly, but you're like, okay, I totally buy into this. It's going on.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I think I mirror both of you guys in that as far as a key stand-up performance, Steve Martin for all the way. I mean, the like you said, the moment when he realizes that she's inside of him trying to take control, him walking, trying to, between female, feminine and masculine, and it was, that's just genius. So yeah, I'm on board with you guys on that.
You know what that
And
she reminded me of?
mm,
Bruce Campbell when he was fighting with his hand in The Evil Dead.
yes,
I
well,
love that part.
again, I'm sure they probably looked to Steve Martin for this for
Yeah, no
inspiration.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and as far as performances, well, it's Lily Tomlin and Steve Martin all the way. I mean, they made this film glow with genuine fun and just organic and sweet and funny performances. Every scene they were in, every line that Lily Tomlin spoke was just gold. So, yeah, for me, it was definitely that Martin and Tomlin all the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's go to the budget and box office on this one. Budget at the time is unknown, but given the average of comedy films at that era, it's about 15 to 20 million. So I'm guessing more on the lower end. It's probably about 15 million. That's just a guess. And box office at the time was about 36.4 million, which is about 109.8 million. So whatever the budget was within that range, it made money and it did very, very well. Steve Martin was definitely a surefire hit at the box office at the time. So, reviews and scores, it received generally favorable reviews. Roger Ebert, he gave who loved Chances Are.
Ugh. Lots of respect for that man, but go ahead.
He gave this film 3.5 stars, saying that the movie doesn't just go for the obvious physical jokes. It scores a lot of points by speculating on the ways a man and a woman could learn to coexist in such close quarters. Agreed. And Janet Maslin of the New York Times called this the best American comedy since Tootsie, which is another one we need to cover eventually.
Yeah. And it's funny because I'd never seen that one. This is the first time I seen this movie, and I loved it. So I'm looking forward to watching Tootsie. That looks good.
Yeah, Tootsie's a good one. IMDb, it's at 6.7. It has a Metascore of 68. Rotten Tomatoes, a critic score 85% with an audience score of 67%. And Letterboxd has this at 3.3 stars out of 5. So sequels, remakes, and so forth. There were several failed attempts, thank goodness, to remake this film into either a movie or a television show. And thank God they didn't, because this is a one-off kind of premise. It's a one-trick pony.
I see what you did there, pony, horse.
Ah.
Ha, 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 ha.
Thank you.
But so Ebert gave it the same amount of stars as Chances Are?
I
That's what I can't stop thinking about.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, no.
Well, now his credibility hangs in the balance, huh?
It always has.
Yeah. All righty, so let's give our ratings and scores. Daisy, out of 1 to 10 copper bowls.
Copper balls. Let's see. I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I'm gonna give it. Oh shit, man, this is tough. I mean, I don't want to go overboard. I mean, my problem is that I just saw a shit movie, and this one was so awesome. I don't want to go overboard and give it. I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Liss, your score.
I'm gonna give this 8 copper bowls because I love the movie. I'd watch it over and over again, but it's not like the top for me.
Okay, all right, fair enough. It's a good solid score. I mean, for me, yeah, again, like I said earlier, it's one of my top 3 comedy go-to films of all time. Steve Martin, pure gold. Lily Tomlin, pure gold. And it makes me laugh uncontrollably every time I watch it. So for me, this is 8.5 out of 10 copper bowls easily.
Awesome.
Yeah.
8.5 what?
Copper bowls.
That's not said with too much gusto, but sure.
Oh, okay. I give this 8.5 copper bowls out of 10. Okay. All right, let's go with some further recommendations of films along this light. I mean, we mentioned earlier a film called Always, directed by Steven Spielberg with Holly Hunter and Richard Dreyfuss. Really good film. Any of you guys seen this one?
Oh my god.
No.
It's a tearjerker. It's beautiful. Oh.
Yeah, it's basically the spirit of a husband. Him and his wife, they're firefighter, those plane water droppers, for their pilots, and they're in love. They're partners, they're a team, and he dies, and she has to go on without him. But his spirit stays with her, and he follows her, and he's trying to guide her. And thrown into the mix, she meets another young hotshot pilot, and they start to fall in love. He gets jealous, but then he realizes this is the man for her, and he has to guide them together to survive a big fire. Just a beautiful, beautiful, fun film. Really, really good. And it is a tearjerker, it really is.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, if you get a chance, it's a good film. And also Heaven Can Wait with Warren Beatty that came out back in 1978. It's another one where, he goes, he's killed, he goes to heaven, and he insists he needs to go back to finish his unfinished business. And really good film also, a classic. So yeah, I mean, these reincarnation, body swapping movies, they were, for the most part, they were fun. Big was good.
I saw that one.
That one was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. Although I bet you anything, if we watched this again, we'd come up with some cringy moments in that one.
No, not as cringy as the shit that we just watched.
Okay.
Well, okay.
I think that was the only cringy one.
Well, with Big, I kind of see, he's a grown up with a child inside, and he's about to, he's making out with this chick, and yeah, that's cringy. But no, I mean, at least they weren't related.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you guys get a chance, Liz, if you get a chance, I highly recommend Always. If you're a sucker for the tearjerker romance and stuff like that, it's a beautiful film. It really, really is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I think that about does it, right, guys?
I think so.
Okay. So let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. So join us, folks, next week we have a very special episode coming up, as we're going to have a horror double feature with our friend from Macabre Daily, Sean O'Connor. So make sure you join us for that. That's going to be very exciting. And we're going to be covering Cujo and Terror Train.
Ooh,
so
I can't wait.
Yes, a couple of horror classics. Liz, have you seen any of these two?
No, I haven't.
You're in for a treat, especially with Cujo. I think you're in for a treat. Cujo is a Stephen King novel, and Terror Train stars Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
And it's a slasher thing. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Alrighty?
Yeah.
All right.
Awesomeness.
Okay, so let's start bringing this to a close. Thank you so much for listening, and we really hope you enjoyed the show. Please help to support the podcast by giving us a nice 5-star rating, leave us a good review, or another way you can help to support the podcast is simply to follow and or subscribe to us on Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Audible, Boomplay, or wherever you get your podcast fix. Also, don't forget you can catch Liz on her own podcast, Ouch, Was That a Ghost? And you can catch it on Patreon, Spotify, Amazon, or most platforms where you get your creepy and weird podcast fix. Don't forget, please check us out on TikTok. It hasn't been banned yet. It was banned. Now it's back. We'll see in the future. So we're on for now. And also check out our YouTube channel where we have all of our regular episodes they drop there as well. All this stuff you can find in our LinkTree below in the show notes. And in there we have a lot of cool stuff, past episodes, highlights, a lot of cool fun stuff, our merchandise store. So check it out. You can also contact us directly via email to thefilmjoepod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. So with that being said, I'm Joe.
I'm Daisy.
And I'm Liz.
And this is the Film Joe Podcast,
where film talk happens.